but I think so somewhere, I mean, what I believe is, so we have developed many faiths in our life. Like, I would not say it's just one,
Yes.
right? It's not just that, I mean, like, मैं भगवान की पूजा करता हूँ, मेरा faith उसमें है. That is one aspect of it. I have faith in my wife that whatever happens, she will stand by me. That is one faith in my life. I have faith in my parents, as when I'm growing up, they will take care of me. That is one faith in my life. So sometimes I have a faith in my boss that he will vouch for my progress. Right. So there are different faiths that we develop in our journey in our life, and not every time they will come true basis our perspective or wishes or our final outcome that we are looking at. And that is when a lot of people get shaken up, because they somehow are so attached to that faith that even a small thread that comes out of that faith leaves them thinking too much, leaves them to uh, go in a shell or even go in a silo, that we've discussed earlier also. So, how do you think this whole, I mean, like, should we actually develop that many faiths in our life? Or if we do, how open minded should we be in our expectations from those faiths?
See, Sanjeev, if we are talking about it technically speaking, I mean, all these beliefs or faiths and everything, if you put together, this forms that big word of trust.
Yeah.
It comes under that ever-pervasive word of trust. Okay. And it's extremely important for each one of us that it should be there.
Yeah.
We should have.
Exactly.
If we want to succeed in life, I'll have to bank. I mean, I'm not talking of we are taking some help or some assurances or some support systems. No, but it's extremely important for each one of us to have some anchor points in our life. So these are the small anchor points which are very, very important for each one of us to proceed further. Right. So, as you told very rightly, that religious is one belief system I can have. I can have a family friend or a colleague or somebody on whom I can have this belief. So all these are anchor points which has to be there. And you asked me, is it important? Yes, it is. For me, at least personally speaking, I may be right or wrong. Personally speaking, for me, it is important for each one of us to have those anchor points. They give us some leverage to proceed further.
Right.
They give some, as I mean, if you say in Hindi, they give a lot of tharav, that calmness in our entire progress.
Right.
So this is one part of it. So it is important for us. The next point is that how do you really behave or how do you really respond when one of those systems do not respond or do not come out the way you had expected?
Yeah.
This is where you will have to also keep your mind and ears open. Go back again what we talked of. What is the context and what is the environment? If I keep that in mind, I'll be able to realize why this particular anchor point of mine has not responded the way I would have expected it to respond.
Yeah.
I mean, just while speaking to you, I'm thinking of let's say you are traveling in a boat, and I mean we talked about anchor points.
Yeah.
You normally if you see when you are traveling in a boat, the boatman has got its typical places where they put the anchor down, right?
Right.
But it might so happen some sludge might have come at some point of time.
Right.
In one of those anchor points, those sludges are there. And when you try to anchor that, it doesn't anchor. The boatman does not get disturbed by that.
Right.
It realizes immediately that there is something, some external things which has come in where this is the problem here. So what he does, we have to learn from
Right.
I've just got this example right now
Yeah.
while talking to you because of anchor. So what he does, he moves forward,
Right.
tries to find another
Another.
anchor point at that point of time, and that's a temporary one.
Yeah.
When he comes in the return journey, or when the next time he starts, he tries the first one first.
Right. Exactly.
This is what we have to do it in our life. We have to understand the context, we have to understand the environment, we have to understand why it has happened right now, and not to get disturbed by it. We must move on, everything must move on, we must move on, but with not a negative thought about that anchor point or that belief system that we had, which has in that particular time has not responded the way we would have loved it to respond.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to expand this conversation further. Um, One is definitely not somebody who we have put our faith in may not come to the expectation that we want that person to be, or the environment, not just the person. I would say even the environment. But sometimes, I mean, like there are situations where that person or that faith is totally taken out of the equation in our lives. I mean, which definitely, I mean, for anybody, everybody will. It's not an easy thing to cope up with, because when you are attached to a certain thing, person, or environment, or anything, like even like let's say you've been in a job for 10 years, and something goes bad with that business, and you lose that job because of anything, but you have given your 10 years to that job, you have had faith in that company, that business, that environment that you were in, it automatically breaks you. I mean, and however positive a person may be, the first thing that would happen to you is it will break you. I mean, it will take you time to come back, but the first thing which will happen is that why with me is a question that anybody and everybody asks. What in that situation people should do? I mean, to come out of those situations, because sometimes they can be a very, very wrong place to be in.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, when you are speaking about it, I was also just thinking about why people say also. I mean, of course, there's nothing. I mean, it's not directly correlated to this. I'll come back to uh, this loss of this anchor point. Why do the people say the loss of a parent is the worst loss ever? If you look at it, they have been your anchor point for your life, but they're not permanent. Nothing is permanent in life, and when you lose, you realize how important is that anchor point for you, how important is that belief, that support system you had. But still, it's the heaviest loss one can ever have, but still you move on.
Exactly.
So I am coming back to your point of that system, that support system, or that belief, or that strong base that you had in something where you had your business working, you had your job or a business which has been with you forever, and that's being taken away, or that there's some glut in that, there is some changes in that. How do you really cope up with it? This is what I mean. How do you really get over it? I mean, the two ways again, reacting to it. You can always react in a negative way. You go down. You brood over it. You think over it. You cry over it. But again, not for nothing, it has been told, don't cry over the split milk.
Yeah.
It's spelt. You have to bring back with lots of new belief system, new anchor points. So that's what when I talked about the anchor points, I wanted to mean, Sanjeev, that you have to rework continuously in your life to create those anchor points, which can give you those supports, which can give you those lips which you would like to have it. Lips not only in form of growth, in forms of your own existence as well. It can give you that. And obviously, I mean, again, I think we have been repeatedly talking about it, that this can also be treated as within inverted comma, as a failure.
Yeah.
And the learning from this system or loss of this system can always be used to create those new anchor points for you.